views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody, welcome. Want to welcome you. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive
Very
by.
kind of sultry and sexy
Kind of
there.
sultry and sexy
That was
today,
a new
I
one. I didn't expect it.
I know. I haven't been the same since my dentist appointment yesterday.
Oh, I thought it was your new intention for 2015.
It is my new intention.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, it is
And
that.
your dentists are just like that.
Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation, isn't it? Oh,
Someone
boy.
that works on your mouth. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
gotta be
telling
close with
you.
them.
Yeah, that's it. Just get rid of Match.com and go right to the dentist.
Hey-o.
That's what we're talking about. Hey, everybody, welcome. We got a great show for you today. Well, Mr. Benny, we're all happy about the Seahawks, so getting my nails done actually did pay off.
Are they
love
in
that.
Seahawks colors?
Yeah.
Oh, they are. Look at that.
Every year I get them.
Good for you.
I know. Well, every year since last year was the first year I got them like that.
All right,
so,
well, I'll give you a hawk for that. And then maybe another one if you want to do the eyelashes. That's next. Apparently that's the big thing.
yes, that is.
The Wink, we know Wink.
That is.
Tova, who works for Wink Eyelash
Right.
in Bellevue, she does glue-on Wink lashes that go extend, and you can get them with colors.
Just want to tell you that.
Just all the ladies,
just
even
wanna tell
Taylor,
you-
even Taylor.
Yeah, just want to tell you, though, this here probably, this is putting my naturopath over the top. So I'm
That's
just
as far
going
as
to
you're
say
gonna
that.
go? All right.
If I put glue on my eyelashes,
It's safe.
I'm going to have to look for a new Dr. Darvish.
No.
Yeah, that would be it. Welcome, everybody. We got a great show for you today. One of my favorite topics. Who knew? I'm so thrilled to have Lynn Brown joining me here today, because today's show is so timely. It is really, really timely in terms of energy, in terms of the abundant nature of what we're about to experience this year. Many of you have heard me talk about the fact that 2014 was a great year to let go of stuff. Don't make anybody a priority that's making you an option. If you're doing that, then you need to just let those folks go. If that's happening in your life in other ways, it was a great year to start purging, to start cleaning things out. Let's dust in the corners that you haven't dusted in 50 years ago and see what shows up. But today's show is all about the idea of what happens when you do begin that process. What happens when you start to move things around? Have you ever felt like you have given up your power to other people? You've given up your power to other things. Have you ever, looked at your life and said, wait a minute, not only am I not the leader in my own life, but I don't really feel very empowered to be the leader of much else. And I've heard that over and over and over again in 2014. I've heard it as people that are heads of households really not understanding what it really means to lead their family to the abundant life. Senses of powerlessness, hopelessness, endlessness, of a scarcity that folks believe that just showed up on their doorsteps. But what is it that we can learn today from Lynn? If you don't know who Lynn is, well, I'm just going to tell you briefly about Lynn because we've got a lot to cover in the show today. Intuitive energy healer, medium, and she has an incredible background. And when we think about some of the things we've done in life, when we think about her and her life and finance, when we think about the fact that she was a premier athlete, when we think about the fact that, leadership played an important role in how she crafted and carved out her life. She now, steps forth as the owner of, INTOIT and Rawness of Life. You're going to hear about that today. But beyond all of that and hosting Get Into It, winning at the game of life, today's radio show is all about that. It's about how do we pay attention to the things that show up in our life. How does this, born and raised in a small Western Washington town woman say yes to the abundance and epic possibilities in life? How does she take everything that she learned in basketball and, come to the forefront to really look at, wait a minute, I know how to help people in ways that, perhaps we haven't even looked at. And this is what she has said yes to in her life. Whether it's traveling through the United States and playing basketball, or whether it's sitting down with someone and help them create a financial plan for their lives and be able to take money and put that aside so that they have a future. It's all about how Lynn shows up beyond that thing we called career. It's being able to show up as someone that is so connected to the Ascended Masters. And today's show, Get Into It, winning at the game of life, with Lynn, is about Holy Moses, reclaim leadership over your domain. How do we do that? And why is it for some of us that we have been so willing to give that up? Many of us have gone through life really trying to figure out what humility means. And I think what I've come to understand these days is humility doesn't mean that we are not able to lead with integrity in life, but to do it in a way which considers others in the most incredible way. Today, Lynn is going to share her personal experience with Ascended Master Moses and, what Moses has shared with her about leadership and how we can use it in all aspects of our lives. Today you're going to hear how each of us is called in a unique way as Lynn gets to talk with us about what Ascended Master Moses has shared and how Moses has come to Lynn. Lynn, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here today.
So how did Moses tap you on the shoulder? How did that even begin? Let's talk about how that began to happen for you.
Oh my goodness. It was a surprise for me. My first encounter with Moses was back in 2012. I went on a trip to Ethiopia with my husband, and his family is from that area. So I got to get really down and dirty, in the culture. And it was a point in my life where obviously I had stepped into many of my intuitive gifts, and I had started to participate in communication with Jesus and some of the other ascended masters. And during a meditation, Moses showed up, and he showed up, and I thought, "What? Who's this?" Honestly, Moses had not been on my radar.
Right.
I, remember hearing about him as in Bible school, but he had not been an ascended master or a being that I had worked with. So this was a little surprise to me, and he showed up with Jesus next to him. I think it was important for Jesus to be there with him so that I would believe what was happening, because I was very familiar with working with Jesus. And Moses just came to me and stood in front of me in this meditation, just asked me to be with him, and just asked me to feel his essence. And his essence was really what he wanted me to know about him was his love for the land, his love for animals, and his love for people, his love for his people. And he just kept repeating that, And it's one thing to hear it, but it's another thing to actually feel, right? And many of my experiences with the Ascended Masters is they kind of give me this download. They kind of give me this infusion. I would almost say infusion of what they're really feeling. And that really gives me an experience to speak to. It comes to life, right? It's the difference between somebody hearing about something, reading about something, and actually experiencing it. And so he came to me that day as an introduction, and he said, Lynn, I'm going to be with you on the mountain. And then he disappeared. And I thought, well, what the heck? What the heck does that mean? And it ended up being that 3 weeks later, we had an open day. So we took this side trip up to this mountain, this church that had used to be the king of Ethiopia's house. And his wife didn't like the house because it was too far out of town. So they turned it into a church. and it was called the Church of Miriam. And we went to go see it, and at the top of this church, I received some other messages. The messages weren't from Moses, but the messages were very intense. But there he was with me on the top of the mountain. You know, it took 3 weeks later for this thing to arrive, which he told me. But that was my first introduction to him, and it was powerful.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to share those stories with us today.
I am.
You know,
Yep.
You're going to talk about, what does that mean to connect with an ascended master? What are the messages, And do you ever ask the question, why me?
Yeah, absolutely. I ask why me, how me, really? Me? Right? Like, am I really good enough to receive these messages? And I think that's part of the learning of actually spending time with these ascended masters is, from many earthly standpoints of people walking around, we think, oh, it's so far out of reach. But when they come right into your space or right into your beingness and show you how to be with you and you with them, it removes that, oh, I'm a little person and they're this big thing that's unachievable. It really starts to connect yourself with your true essence and your true power and all that you can be. And then the restrictions start to just kind of dissipate.
Exactly, melt away, don't they?
They do, with ease and very quickly.
Exactly. Yeah, let's take a short break. When we come back, Lynn Brown is in the house. She's going to share what the experience with Moses was like. What are the messages? There are 4 major messages, but I'm sure there are many more. When we come back, we're going to be talking with her about what those messages are and what do they mean in terms of life and in terms of her life, our lives, and the lives of many. Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back with the show.
Taking me higher than I've ever been before. I'm holding it back, just wanna shout out, give me more. You're just a hideaway, you're just a feeling. You let my heart escape beyond the meaning.
Step into more inner and outer leadership in all facets of your life. This means being the CEO of your own destiny. Imagine a life of what you say goes. Lynn Brown, the host of Winning at the Game of Life, is going to help you activate the power in being present, owning your space, and harnessing all of your energy during her full-day workshop. Own your leadership, own your life. Get ready to own your body, your relationships, your work, and your life. Lynn and co-facilitator Wendy Wolf have teamed up for a body and spirit experience that will transform you forever. Every person will receive 2 20-minute sessions of body or aura work, amazing content, and a full 1-hour healing session with Lynn or Wendy. Lunch is included, space is limited. Sign up early and get an additional 20-minute session included. To register or for more information, contact Lynn at ruintoit.com or call 844-BE-INTOIT. Workshop is January 31st, 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. in downtown Bellevue.
Tune in each Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio to Limelight Radio with Katina Macris. This is an inspirational, cutting-edge radio show educating worldwide listeners on a diversity of Lyme disease-related topics. Each week, Katina will interview some of the world's leaders in health, wellness, spirituality, and human potential. For more information, visit limelightradio.com.
Tired of traditional talk? People pontificating about this or that, the left or the right. Sometimes the truth is just all lost in the noise. Tune in each week to Straight Talk with Chuck Gallagher on TransformationTalkRadio.com, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, as nationally known guests talk about what's important to you, your life, your concerns, and your success. Tune in and turn on to Straight Talk with Chuck Gallagher. Visit ChuckGallagher.com for more information.
It's here, the 23rd Annual Women of Wisdom Conference, February 12th through the 16th. This year's theme is I Am We, Hearts Connecting Communities, with special guests Jean Shinoda Bolin, healer Patty Conklin, Penny Pierce, and over 40 experiential life-changing workshops and inspiring evenings, all individually priced for you to create your unique conference. Evenings open to men. Find out all the details at www.womenofwisdom.org. Register for a half-day workshop and bring a friend for 40% off.
You're just a chance I take to keep on dreaming. You're just another day that keeps me breathing. Baby, I love the way
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Hey, for more information about us, go to transformationtalkradio.com, go to thedrpatshow.com, and take a sneak peek at thetransformationnetwork.com about what we're getting ready to create. Click on that radio button. It's going to show you a lot of cool stuff. Lynn Brown is in the house. Lynn, before we get jumping here to talk about what Moses wants us to know, please let folks know about upcoming workshops, your website, and anything else you want to share with us.
People can find me and my work at the letter R, the letter U, INTOIT.com. You can reach out to me at Lynn at ruintoit.com. And I have 3 very exciting workshops coming up. They're all in the local Bellevue area. One is Holy Moses, Reclaim Your Leadership Over Your Domain. So it's a branch of today's topic. It's very timely. That's on Friday, January 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. here in Bellevue. You can contact me for more details. And it's going to be interactive meditation session with Moses, going through some of these messages that I've received. I have spent literally probably the last 4 months with Moses. He's been training me like a trainer, like a teacher, coach. So I have a lot more to share, and so some of those will be shared that evening. And the following day, Own Your Leadership, Own Your Life is a full-day workshop with Wendy Wolf and myself. It'll be from 9:30 to 4:30 at the same location in Bellevue. We're going to have body sessions, aura healings, meditation content, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a phenomenal workshop.
Cool. And what's the best way for people to register for that?
You can just either reach out to Wendy or myself, and you can do it straight through my website, again, at ruintoit.com.
Okay. Great. So tell us about Moses. You know, many people know about Moses. I mean, especially with the latest movie that's been out. But, you know, Moses is one of those characters in, you know, what we've learned about Ascended Masters that gets quite a bit of attention. And, you know, but yet we have yet to know Moses in the way that you know Moses, or yet to know Moses as, quote, an Ascended Master. So why don't you talk a little bit about what an Ascended Master actually is?
Sure. I think that's really important for all of us to understand is these highly spiritual people who walk the earth, who got to know God, who became a living example of what it is to be Christ-like, are not gone from us. They've passed on from their bodies, but they still remain around, and we can access them. We can access their learnings. And for me, it's learning their strengths. You know, you don't have to go learn all of these things on your own. You can really begin to just match them and receive these learnings from them. And so that's what an Ascended Master is somebody who's been highly spiritually evolved and is on the other side, available to us if we want to simply ask for help or sit in meditation or just ask for them to come show you something. It will likely show up in a way that you're open to receiving it. You know, before I start talking about these experiences, you know, these experiences are definitely my personal experiences. And I'm thankful that I have the intuitive knowing that I'm intuitive. Otherwise, I would think I was crazy.
Yeah,
right? And so I think for many people out here hearing this, I bet if you close your eyes and you hear some stuff or you see some stuff just in your imagination, you know, in your eye, in your third eye or in your mind's eye, you might blow it off as you're imagining things. But I'm here to say that you're probably not imagining it. It's probably really Spirit reaching out to you to show you some things about your life. And so I can stand here as a person who's engaged in everyday life, but also engaged in the spirit world and say it really is right here at the tip of our fingers if we just start to believe a little bit more in the possibility of, like it can happen to all of us. It does happen to all of us. We just need to believe in it a little bit more. So I just wanted to start with that.
I think that's a good point you're making, because I think as we continue to talk about this today, I think that, you know, what you're doing is inviting people to a new level of awareness, you know, without worrying about, well, what are they trying? We spend so much time. I know I hear something, but what is it? What is it? What is it? And then it's almost like we're blocking off that channel. So today you're going to share with us, you know, what opening up to that channel is like for you, and what are the messages Moses has for us?
Yeah. One of my really recent experiences, I had that experience with Moses in 2012, and I really had not had an experience with him since until October. I went down this past October, and I went down to New Mexico to go to a retreat, a women's retreat. And I knew in my bones that something big was going to happen on this retreat, and there was a lot that did. But then this is one of them. I was led out to this place in New Mexico, and it was called Dreams Time. And it's a place where the man who built this place has built little temples outside from different forms of nature. So there would be like the Temple of the New Atlantis, the Temple of the 13 Sacred Grandmothers, and each thing is kind of a vortex or an area of intention about these topics where somebody could really sit and receive messages more clearly if they are drawn to do it, right? It's just not something that you cannot force. And I think that is important too in working with spirit is I think the more that you're in effort about getting a message, the slower it comes to you. You really have to just be in receiving mode. But anyways, I was in the particular temple called the 13 Sacred Grandmothers. And this happened to be probably about an hour into exploring this land and this space. And I was guided to lay down on my back. And I had a girlfriend with me, so she was kind of chuckling along the way, watching me like lay on my stomach and put my feet up in there and do all these things. And I just said, hey, look, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna play this game and see what happens. So I lay down in the middle of the circle and I put my hands up in the air, like in prayer mode, but really extended out because that's what I was guided to do. And it kind of blocked the sun out of my eyes, and when it did that, Moses appeared. The top half of his body appeared in front of me. He was in a cloak, so I couldn't really see his face, but I knew it was him. And he said to me, Lynn, I'm back. I'm back to be with you, and it's time. It's time for you. You're ready. All the training you ever had, all the training you ever need, you're ready. Let's go. And so I thought to myself, and in my mind to him, I said, okay, sure, that sounds great. Where are we going? Where are we going? This is kind of interesting, even to me, right? I want to believe and I want to follow, but even I need pretty clear details because we're translating stuff from spirit world into physical world.
Right.
And so I said, all right, here's the deal. Let's go. But you need to show me where to go. And he goes, well, it's time to lead people into the promised land. And so I thought about that for a while, and I said, okay, sign me up. Let's do it. Let me get my courage up.
Amen.
He'll be next to my side. Let's do it. And then he disappeared. And so I sat up, and I knew the message was done, except for now my girlfriend came over to me, and she came up to me, and she goes, What just happened there? And I said, well, this is what just happened. And she goes, I was at the top of the hill watching you, and when you put your hands up, I was guided to pick up this little three-legged elephant. Well, it's not a three-legged elephant. It was Ganesh. And Ganesh has always been by my side, and he is known for being remover of obstacles and help clearing the pathway, And anyway, she looks at me, and she goes, so what did he say? I said, well, he told me it was time to lead people into the promised land. Basically, I need to get off my butt and start doing, leading. And she goes, well, where is the promised land? And it took me a second to think about it. And I said, no, the promised land is not a physical place. It's an internal place. It's a spiritual place. It's a place, it's a way of thinking, feeling, loving, believing. It's where there's no doubt, there's only faith. No one is critical of themselves or of others. There's only love, and there's no lack, only abundance, right? And so that was the last bit of information I really needed to deem from that topic. And she said, good, you got it. Now are we done here? I said, yeah, I'm done. And that blew my mind, and I had to process that for a while. But he was there to get me and gather me, and little did I know that he was going to start showing up in my life almost daily with lessons. like a trainer would. One time he came to me with this little stopwatch next to, on his neck, like a trainer would, because I was in training, so to speak.
So, what did you do with that? Basically, you said you stopped and you stepped away and you had to process, right? I mean, I love that you shared that because, sometimes when we get this information, we are asked to stop. And yet it's so counterintuitive because we want something to do. We want something to do. Have you ever played checkers with someone? There's this whole process, right? If you play the game of chess, there's a timer because we cannot wait that long. We do not want to wait. We don't. So we have chess that has a timer because we actually do not want to wait till the person is ready, right?
Yeah.
Think about that idea, a timer. Now, if you've ever played checkers with your friends or family, without a timer, that could be a process too. But that, somehow along the way, we developed a human doing as opposed to human being. When we come back, I want to talk more about that. Was it for you that you got messages of being, or are you being asked to both be and do? And how do you make sense of that? Mm-hmm. Lynn Brown is in the house. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back to find out what Moses had to say to her and how that is now changing her life. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back. Winning at the Game of Life. Yes, Lynn Brown is joining us here today. We're going to make sure that you have our website, information about the upcoming workshop, and then how are you going to invite Moses into your life? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's here, the 23rd Annual Women of Wisdom Conference, February 12th through the 16th. This year's theme is I Am We, Hearts Connecting Communities, with special guests Jean Shinoda Bolin, healer Patty Conklin, Penny Pierce, and over 40 experiential life-changing workshops and inspiring evenings, all individually priced for you to create your unique conference. Evenings open to men. Find out all the details at www.womenofwisdom.org.
Register for a half-day workshop and bring a friend for 40% off.
Would you like to be a question with anything that comes up in your body or mind? Would you like to become totally aware and begin to function as the conscious being you truly are? Join Access Certified Facilitator Glenna Rice every month for a live teleclass where you can ask all of your questions and learn to create change in any aspect of your life. Visit glennarice.com today to learn more and don't miss the next call. Join the questionable conversation today at glennarice.com.
Get sophisticated with David and Philip Zarza. David and Philip touch on topics such as human potential, spirituality, pop culture, and purposeful living. Experience an insightful reading from David on what the universe has in store for you, or reconnect with a departed loved one. Philip can look into an issue or anything else you may be dealing with. Go to getsophisticated.com. That's SOPHISTIGAYTED.com or call 206-420-8660.
Own your leadership, own your life. Start your new year right with this life-shifting all-day workshop led by Wendy R. Wolf and Lynn Brown in Bellevue, Saturday, January 31st. Step into more inner and outer leadership in all facets of your life. Activate the power in being present, owning your space, and harnessing all of your energy for you. Own your body, own your relationships, own your path, own your life. To register, go to healgrowshine.com or email wendy@wendyrwolf.com.
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Yeah, we're so thrilled. We're talking about Moses. Moses, you know we're talking about you too, don't you? Lynn Brown is joining us here today. Lynn, one more time, please mention the workshop and your website. And then, you know, Moses shared some things with you. And I've got a question for you after you give folks your website about that.
Website is ruintoit.com. That's the letter R, the letter U, intoit.com. And you can reach out to me via email as well as Lynn at ruintoit.com. And I have 2 amazing workshops coming up. One is on January 30th, Friday, p.m., Holy Moses, Reclaim Leadership Over Your Domain. And July 31st, a full-day workshop in Bellevue as well called Own Your Leadership, Own Your Life.
I love it. Now, Moses had a few things to say to you. How did you determine that it was okay to take the message out publicly? And then I'd love to hear, because I know what you're about to share is really pretty big. You know, sometimes we get these messages. I get them all the time. And 11 years ago, I knew it was time for me to take a message out there, but not necessarily about me, but take a message out there through other people. And here I am, right? How about you? How did you make sense of this?
Well, that's a really good question, because initially, you know, in October with that experience, I made sure I wrote all of that down, every thought, every feeling, every sensation. I wrote it down, which is important, I think, for all of us to do. It's good learning for us to look back on. And I just kind of put it on the shelf until I got more information and more clarity. And I wasn't looking for it. I knew it would come just from my previous learnings. And so I wasn't too anxious about it, but I could feel something stirring inside of me. I could feel it starting to make me a little uncomfortable, or, you know, he wanted to be known that he was there. So that's how I started that. You know, this upcoming experience that I want to talk about started to gradually happen as he stepped back into my space. You know, I felt him standing at my right-hand side. It's kind of like, imagine somebody close your eyes and imagine somebody just staring at you that is, 5 inches away from your face. And you know they're there, but if your eyes are closed, you can't see them there. And that's kind of how this sensation felt. And I even told my husband right before I went to bed one night, I said, I just want to share with you. I said, Moses has been standing here next to me all afternoon trying to get my attention. And so I think I need to go create space, physical space and spiritual space for him to speak to me. And so I went to sleep and I woke up the next morning. And this is phenomenal. This is a great experience. I woke up and I felt like I was supposed to go run. Now, I am an athlete, so I know.
Literally run.
Yes,
yeah,
literally.
Not run for your life, run away from Moses, but physically go for a run.
Yeah. So I did it. So I went to the gym and I got on the treadmill and I started running and running and running. And I wasn't tired. I just kept running and running and running. And I was like, what is going on here? And Moses showed up and he said, keep running. Keep running. And he's like, look at my feet. And he's like, follow my footsteps every turn. And the message was that it was time for me to be in training. It was time for me to start opening up to leadership from the divine and doing whatever they ask of me to do every step. That's why he was having me look at his feet every step of the way. Do this without question. You don't have time to question. Just do. And so this was my training, and it did feed back into my athletic language, so it was good. And then, he just really put me through a hard workout. He just kept pushing me to work harder, do one more sit-up, do one more bench press. And I thought, gosh, I'm feeling like I'm in training again for, college basketball.
Yeah.
And he said, duh. This is what I'm trying to get you to realize, Lynn. He said, I want you to use your training from sports of extreme focus on a goal and pushing yourself mentally and physically to breaking points, and start using that training, Lynn, and that focus and that strength and that know-how towards your spiritual mission. Now, get back into those sensations.
I get it.
And turn all of your focus.
I get it.
Yeah, and and I did too. I said, oh my gosh, okay, I get it. That's why you brought me to the gym, because I already know those things in my physical body. I just needed to redirect that energy, plug back into that focus and redirect it. So, what he showed me in this was a separate underlying message, and this is, I think, applicable to everybody, and this is a message that I really want to share today. Moses showed me to push my mind, body, and spirit to the limit, and all work separately and together at the same time, and how that is critical for ultimate success in your divine path. He also showed me that this is especially critical for leaders, right? And here's why. There's three main points about this, is that our spirit must maintain faith and alignment with God, even when our mind, or ego, if you would like to call it that, wants to play tricks on us, try to defeat us, or wants us to quit. The second part of that is our bodies must have the strength to keep moving forward on the physical plane, even when our mind and spirit is being challenged and are fatigued. And then the third component is our mind must be able to strategize, problem solve, and think clearly even when our body is fatigued. And he said to me, this too, Lynn, is the Holy Trinity. Mind, body, and spirit. And that blew me away. I mean, how applicable is that for everybody in their walk of life, in their success? Talk about winning at the game of life.
Right.
On all levels. I couldn't have got a clearer message on that. And I got that at the gym one day because I chose to listen to my gut and this anxiousness within me to go run.
And I think what you're bringing up is really important. I think that, sometimes I think what I've learned and I think what you're sharing is really significant in the day and age we live in. And the day and age we live in says that we're not necessarily going to be like those two guys climbing on, the impossible climb, freehand climb. Today everybody's watching on the news. Not all have to do that to get the message. Some of us have to simply show up with all of our experience, all the things we know, so that we're at a place. I don't know about you running, but, when I'm in that zone, I am pretty open. Some people say, well, that's not really meditation. But, you're an athlete and I'm an athlete. I train 7 days a week to be at the top of my game. And I know you did the same. And so for some of us, we have a different pathway to openness than others.
Absolutely. That's one of my best ways to receive, even walking, but running too. I just go into this zone. My body keeps going and my mind is clear and I am so open to. So that that squashes the whole thing of you have to be in stillness physically. Right?
Exactly.
You can be in stillness internally. Absolutely, you have to be in stillness internally. But you don't have to be in stillness physically.
And honestly, when you think about it, and, I know we're talking about Moses. Not sure how much still time Moses had if we believe what we read about Moses. But one of the things also about Moses is he was one of the ancient millionaires. We tend to have this belief about some of the ascended masters as if they didn't have wealth. It may not be, they may not had Microsoft stock, but they had wealth of its time. And that's what we've come to know about the ascended masters for the most part. They walk the earth. Someone asked me an interesting question not too long ago. Where did Jesus get his funding? Because I have right now we're part of a new initiative to rewrite crowdfunding in the world we live in. And I thought to myself, well, that's an easy answer. That's very easy. It's a definitely easy answer. He was surrounded by wealth. He was surrounded. And some people tend to think Mary Magdalene was a very wealthy individual, not kind of like it was talked about. But the question really remains, Lynn, and I hope you talk about this, what do you do with it? You've got the information. What are you going to do with it? Is there a doing part to this? for Moses, there's some stuff he had to do. What does Moses say about that to you?
This brings me back to what you said right before break. And again, I've made so much progress with my doing. And even in the last week, I've just tremendous changes. And I'm going to just say, it really does come back to being. Just being that Christ-like energy, being that Christ-like example on earth and walking it is the most powerful thing you can do. I've always had this sense of, when I was little, I coached, when I was in 9th grade, I coached 3rd grade basketball. I've always been a coach. And I've always felt this dedication to myself and to people who I am leading to not ask them to do something I have never done personally. And what Moses is asking me to do is he's going to take me into a new arena where I'm teaching a whole nother way of being. And I can't teach that way of being until I become that way of being. Mm-hmm. And that's really what he's showing me how to do right now. He's not telling me how to do it. He's showing me, he's giving the space, and I have to figure it out.
But there is a doing part.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, that's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
There is a doing part.
Yeah.
And, how do we make that switch, that change? Because, our ego shows up and it wants to tell us, well, yeah, it's a doing part, but, geez, Lynn, you better do it right. I mean, if you don't do it right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's all of that chatter we have to get rid of.
Yeah.
You're an athlete, I'm an athlete. There's a certain way that you take that basketball and you put that basketball in the hoop and you practice that and learn it.
Right. And this may sound the opposite of doing again, but it's surrendering. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's surrendering internally and following the river. It's like floating in a river and being on an inner tube. I grew up in the country, so this is my example. Being on an inner tube and being present with every single piece of nature that you see, every smell that you smell, and you're still in movement though, right? But you're being and you're absorbing all of the lessons and all of that stuff. And I think that's the place that I've come to know of development right now.
Well, let's take a short break. When we come back, Lynn's going to wrap it all up for us and really give us an invitation on, as we started the show to talk about, the invitation is, how do we take this and reclaim our leadership over our domain? Are we ready, willing, and able to do that? And if we're not, Lynn has certainly put together some tools and some ways for us to become more open to it. Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back with Lynn Brown.
It's here, the 23rd Annual Women of Wisdom Conference, February 12th through the 16th. This year's theme is I Am We, Hearts Connecting Communities. Join us Valentine's Day. Maiden Mother Crone by Sinner Saint Burlesque will entertain, challenge, empower, confuse, embrace, and deeply engage the audience, weaving feminist activism and our sensory exploration for both ancient and modern myths about the feminine. Community building events include open space World Cafe dialogues with Inspirational Jane to explore important issues to women and a teen activist panel interwoven with intergenerational dialogues. Find out all the details at www.womenofwisdom.org. That's www.womenofwisdom.org.
Register for a half-day workshop and bring a friend for 40% off.
Tune in to Sheer Alchemy with Leslie Fontaine on TransformationTalkRadio.com and get ready to stir up your passions, identify your blocks, and shift into an entirely new existence. Leslie Fontaine is a transformation catalyst and clairvoyant who uses her intuitive and energetic gifts to catapult listeners into living the life they were born to live. Whether it's shifting from scarcity to abundance, from emotional pain into joy, or from illness into health, Leslie will help you step into the true essence and power of all that you are with the help of the Ascended Masters and Archangels. You will not be the same. Visit TransformationTalkRadio.com for show dates and times and LeslieFontaine.com to say yes to explosive abundance.
Are you tired of being tired? Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Did you know the adrenal glands, the workhorse of the body? They are the means by which you position yourself in life for whatever comes your way. Tiny but mighty, producing hormones the body uses to promote energy and vitality. These adrenals determine how you respond to stress, and when depleted, the body loses its ability to function powerfully when we need it most. The much-needed adrenaline or epinephrine is not available for emergency situations. Cortisone and cortisol, the longer-acting anti-stress adrenal hormones, can also become depleted due to the pace of our everyday lives. We overwork and undernutrition our most powerful ally that helps us to live the lives we desire. We are able to determine the optimum function of the adrenals and put your system back in balance. Contact us today to feel powerfully energized at 888-777-4232 or visit us at maryjanemack.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. For more information about us, go to Facebook, The Dr. Pat Show, Twitter, The Dr. Pat Show. Lynn, for more information about you, just one more time, let folks know how they can get a hold of you. And then, boy, can't wait to hear what we're doing next with Moses.
Well, you can reach out to me, areyouintoit.com, or Lynn at areyouintoit.com. I have 2 workshops coming up. Please check into them. I have many other workshops on my site, or I can sit down with you individually. I love to show people how to open up these doors and walk down their unique path.
All right. So you've talked about quite a few things in terms of Moses and what Moses had to say. You know, let's talk about where that leaves us now and what you're planning to do with all of that.
Well, I had a really good opportunity to go to Mexico for 3 weeks in December. Usually that's me and my husband's slow time of the year, so we get out of here and we go to somewhere warm. And we happened to be on the beautiful Cancun beaches, and, you know, beaches are so healing, and the salt water is. And I just had a lot of time to relax and a lot of time to meditate. And so that really opened up some doors for me. And here comes Moses again. Sat down next to me on a chair as I was just enjoying the breeze and meditation towards the ocean. And he said, you know, Lynn, you're going to have to go to your desert. As we all know, Moses spent 40 years in the desert. And, you know, that's on the movie. It's not quite shown that he was 40 years in the desert in the movie, but the biblical stories say that he was 40 years in the desert. And there's a lot of stuff that came out of that time for him.
That's right.
But he said, you have to go to your desert, Lynn. And he said, you know, honestly, you're not going to find comfort in your life, and you're not going to find comfort in your body until you do this. There's no more negotiating.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of giggled and negotiated. I said, so do I really have to go to a desert? Do I really have to go to to the top of the mountain and disconnect myself from life totally? And he kind of giggled and he said, no, this is symbolic, Lynn. You need to go to your desert symbolically. And what that means is that I needed to come to a place where I was okay being detached from external things. I had to be okay being alone. Again, it's an internal place that I have never been before, and in order to receive what I needed to receive and do the things that I need to do, I needed to do something that I've never done before, right? I needed to go somewhere totally different. So I said, okay, make that clear to me. What is that? And he said, well, one, begin to remove all toxins from your life. Now, this isn't a rule, right? This isn't like you're not going to succeed unless you do this and I command you. It was more like if you're trying to get to this place you've never been before,
right?
Try doing these things, which is going to allow you a higher probability of achieving this space. Toxins, let's talk about that. He really meant on the mental, physical, and spiritual level. Mental toxins. Be careful what your intake is.
Yeah, not necessarily about let's go on a detox program.
No,
unless you're talking about a holistic detox.
Correct. And physically, who do you surround yourself by? What information are you letting in to your Holy Trinity? Right. Mm-hmm. Even as far as foods go, man, I've just been drinking a lot more water. I've been drinking a lot of green foods every morning, lemon limes. So even there is a component of the foods that you're putting in your body. Now, again, I'm not forcing myself to do this. I think along the journey, you just become more aware of these things, and your body does not want the toxins around. So it's not a forcing out of toxins. You really begin to want to shed those. Mm-hmm. And it's I think that's a big distinction. And then the second part was he said, you need to go to solitude, right? This is my desert, solitude. And so in that, here is the lesson that he was showing me. And right now I'm participating in that solitude, and every day I'm learning so much. He showed me the importance of being comfortable with being alone, not only in your physical world, but in your mental and spirit energy space as well.
Yep. Yeah.
Critical to understand those layers. Leaders are typically taking a route that has never been taken before, or where there is much solitude. And they have to be comfortable in that solitude, relying on the support from the divine and their resources.
Well, it's a very, very powerful message. I mean, just sharing it with us today, gives us a lot of things to really talk about here.
Yeah, and again, I'm practicing that right now. I'm in day 4. I'm in day 4 of solitude, and to be honest, it's a mental solitude. It's me really choosing wisely and carefully what I'm allowing in my life, and I'm still participating in life. Isn't that great?
Exactly.
So everybody listening, you can still participate in life and be in this place of solitude where you're really open to receiving messages. I just want to leave on this really beautiful quote. I think sums this message up a lot. I was reading a book on Moses, and this quote was by J. Oswald Sanders, and he wrote something that really struck home as, again, I'm in the vortex of discovering what it really feels like to completely be what God is calling me to be while still participate in this earthly game at 100%. And here's the quote. The leader must be one who, while welcoming the friendship and support of all who can offer it, has sufficient resources to stand alone, even in the face of fierce opposition, in the discharge of his responsibilities. He or she must be prepared to have no one but God. And I'm beginning to truly understand what this means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the underlying notion is God is enough.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't we just say that? We should have just started the show and ended the show right there.
God is enough. Lynn, thank you so much. No kidding, right? I can't wait to hear part 2 about this, because I'm sure you're not done.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm journaling this whole process, so it's going to be a powerful message for everybody.
Thank you so much for all you do. And hey, everybody, make sure you check out the workshops, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Tell folks how they can find out more about all of those, because I know you do them all the time.
All the time. Yep. They're listed on my website. Again, go to ruintoit.com. I hope to see you there, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.
And more from Moses. Lynn Brown, everyone. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. And again, Facebook, The Dr. Pat Show, Twitter, The Dr. Pat Show. And we've got lots planned for you this year based on what you've said you wanted more of. We'll see you next time.